Hi everybody, it's Yvonne again. I'm going to start today to make a journal. I'm going on a trip. I'm going on a transatlantic cruise, and I'm going to do, it's going to be a nice trip, a 15-day cruise, and then we're flying into Ireland and doing all kinds of good stuff. Little dream vacation. My point is I'm going to make a journal. And this is one that I had made a while back, but I'd like to have more room in it and not as big. As you know, flying restricts certain things. And for me, I am bringing in my backpack a book and so forth. I'm minimizing it, but still, I think what I'm going to do is make a smaller one of this typical idea, which I had made a while back. And this is just the journal, which I made the signatures and tied them in. And I may end up bringing this one, but I thought maybe I would make one a little different and show you how I make it. It's quite simple, and we'll see what it does. I've done something different. I've laminated the cover, and I haven't done any embellishments on the top at this point for this one. So the collection I'm going to use to make a smaller one is I took out my Tales of You and Me by Frank Garcia. I also took out, that's Prima by the way, and I also took out my DCWV Vintage Memories and to use. And I also took out the vellum from Tim Holtz that is on our craft site, and I'm going to see if I can add some of this inside with my journal. There's no basic plan, just an idea, and I'm going to work with that idea. So in my Vintage Memories, or I should say in the Tales of You and Me, I've pulled out a sheet of paper that looks like this, and I've cut it in half at 6 inches. And now I decided that I would like to have it around this size. So I'm going to cut it at 10 inches, which will make it a 5-inch booklet. So I'm going to fold this, and this is going to be the size of my booklet. So with that in mind, I have my Xyron Creative Station ready. I'm just going to lay that in here, and that is going to laminate the inside here as well as the outside. So my reasoning for that is I could laminate all the papers and write with an erase marker, but I really don't want that because I'm afraid I might lose some information and so forth. So I'm going to run this through my laminator like that, and I'm going to cut off the sheet, and it comes out like this. I love these laminators. Xyron has very many different size. I particularly use the large one. I only have two actually. I have the very little one that does the little tags, which is this little guy here, and when I have a little tiny piece. Other than that, I use the big one. You could also use the self-laminated sheets. I've never used them, but you can get those at the dollar store, so I'm not sure how well they would work. But hey, at the dollar store, can't go wrong by trying. So now my purpose here is I'm cutting off the excess, and I'm just giving it a little bit of a border to the side, just because that's what I like. And you can tell approximately also where it's sealed, and it gives you a nice straight edge, which is going to be quite interesting. So I've got my 3 pieces all done up here, and I have a really cute little book. Now another thing I do, but then again, this is by preference only, I'll take my bone folder at this point and I'll just make sure the crease is well done and everything is nice and sealed and ready to go. Now, I like to round off my corners. It's just a preference. It's not, doesn't have to be that way. I kind of like it. And since it's going to be my journal, I'm going to, oh, I should have maybe taken my, there you go, I got it out. Let me see, I should have taken my crocodile for this. It did cut, but I prefer my crocodile. I knew that. Much better. I just cut out the corners. I just find that, it just popped back in place. I just find by cutting the corners, it makes it a little bit more, not so sharp on the edges, that it's going to roll. I find it really helps the roll on the corners. What I mean by that is the corners aren't going to roll the way they normally would if you leave them, which makes sense, right? Now, if you don't have a corner rounder, just take your scissors and snap off the ends of it, and then you end up with this kind of a booklet. Now, at this point, it's up to you what you want to do. If you want to keep it as is, just build your signatures, put them in there, and you have yourself a book, and then you can embellish the outside or whatever. At this, I haven't gotten any pages ready to put my inserts in here, but I'm trying to debate, am I going to add some embellishments? If so, this is now that I'm going to add them on. So let's me get some few of my things out and I will be right back. All right, so I have gone and got myself out decided to use some of this fringe. It's just fringe that you can buy. I'm not even sure what they call it, but rayon. It's a trim, and I also took out a box of my all kinds of different length of trim there too. So I don't want to put it too bulky. So what I'm adding on here with my Fabri-Tac is I'm going to put a bead of Fabri-Tac all the way around like this. And I will be adding on that trim onto the edge to dress it up a bit. Nothing too elaborate, but I want it to be strong enough that when I bring it in and out of my backpack, it will stay intact, but yet still be pretty. So I'm just adding Fabri-Tac all the way around fairly quickly, because this Fabri-Tac does dry quite quickly, I'm telling you. Like that. And this Fabri-Tac of this size, which is 80 ounces, I bought for about $10 at our Canadian Walmart. I was at the, I think they call it Big Lot or something like that in Maine, and I picked up these for $3 a piece, which I thought was an excellent buy. That's Fabri-Tac, and that's 3-in-1. It's all by Beacon, so it's a really good glue. I wanted to try this one to see how it works. So if you're around that area, if they have some, I would suggest for you to pick some up. So I'm going to add this on. I'm starting from the edge here, and I'm just working my way across the edge. And this here is really good, really good glue. I don't expect it to fall apart on me. I expect it to stay intact, and I'm just going to make sure that it's all nice and straight. I'm kind of fussy that way. I'm not to, sometimes a little too much. I give myself a little bit of time here to here, and I'll straighten it out after. Like that. And I'll straighten it out. And just something to add a little bit of flavor on the outside. Since it's laminated, it's pretty plain, but yet it'll withstand rain, it'll withstand so much that if I have something that drops in my backpack or whatever the case is, I will feel secure about this, that it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to cut that off right there. And now I'm going to make sure that all is straightened out. And I'll go on to my next step. So stick around. I'm just beginning to do this journal. All right, so I'm back. And as we finished a few minutes ago, I had finished all laminated and did the top. Now what I did here is I took some paper out of my cardstock, and again I was working with vintage memory just because it was the top of one, and I cut out some sheets that I'd be able to write on, and I'm going to embellish some of them. And I cut off a sheet of 10. So I cut off 2 inches at the end, and then I cut 6 inches. So it gave 2 pieces of 6 inches by 12. Correct? 12 inches, 10 inches. What I did after I folded them all together is I evened out the sides by putting it again through my cutter and cutting off the edges. So I would have a round edge versus an edge that sticks out like this. Okay? So then, I got two of them done, which we'll do for my journal, because I know how many days I'll be away and so forth. So what I did afterwards is I took my crocodile and I pushed it to the very end in the crease, and I punched out a hole. So I just pushed it to the end, punched out a hole there, turned it around, did the same thing here. Then I took my cardstock, or my sheets inside, and I did the same thing. I did a hole here, hole there, and I did the same thing. So now I have 2 signatures, which in this point has, I believe, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. So 7 is 14, and 7 on this one, which makes 28 pages, 2-sided. Alrighty, so now I have 2 signatures that is going to fit in here. But how am I going to make it fit in here? I'm going to run it through and sew it together. So let me get that all together, and I will be right back. Alright, so I finished putting my book as far as the base together. This is what I did. I took out my crocodile. I made some holes. I showed you that in the previous video. And then I took out some grommets. I have grommets of all sizes, but this one I chose the smaller ones because I don't have a super big journal. And I added them to the tip here, just to reinforce the back of the book, not onto the pages. Then I took a long piece of adhesive border trim. There's adhesive on that, but I just use it as a rope. I cut off a big enough piece. I would probably say a good, I would say a couple of feet. And then I ran it through one of the center of the signatures, pulled it through, ran it back in here, and took the stem, ran back in there. But then I put it through the second signature, which I found made it a lot tighter here too than doing it separate. So I am going to leave these tips here for now. I did a nice knot in here, and the rope is kind of not slippery, but it almost has like a wax feeling to it, so it should turn quite well right across the board. So now I have myself a little book which is all together, and now I just need to make the pockets where I want to make them, and tags or whatever I want to do, and I'll be all finished. And I will be back to my next step. Hi everybody, this is Yvonne, and I'm back. I'm back to show you the finished product. And a couple of things that I've learned out of this journal. And one is I had glued a fringe all the way around. It was too easy to come off. It didn't want to adhere over the laminate. I tried some glue gun, same thing, came off too easy for me. And I used some Fabri-Tac, and it was the same thing, came off too easily. So the only thing I hadn't tried was E6000. I kind of gave up after that. And because it's a travel journal, I don't only want it to look pretty, but I wanted it to last in my backpack. So I took it off totally. Didn't even leave any residue. And another tip that I learned is that adding something to the front of it, because it's laminate, I've yet to find any glue that'll work real good on it. Like I said, I haven't tried the E6000 though. So if you're going to, just something to remember, if you're going to laminate and do this, a journal or laminate anything, and you want to have something written on it, do it before you laminate it. So in other words, if I had taken this and added travel journal on the paper instead of the laminate, it would stay a lot more. I have not a whole lot of confidence on this, although it sticks, but I'm afraid that it's going to not be as solid as I'd like to, because I like to have it stick there, and I think this with time is going to come off. That's just my little tip. Other than that, everything is perfect. I made myself a little charm, a little travel charm with a compass and so forth. Just to let, I had to add that because that's cute. I don't think that'll come off. And I added 4 corners, metal corners, to hold the, so it won't roll on me in the backpack. Thought it would make it a little more solid. And for my pen, all I did at this point for my pen is I just added a clip, a little clip like this, and I added it to the side here, and my pin fits automatically in there, and I can just pull it out if I need it. I may not leave it there. I'm not quite sure. If I were to do it again, because this was the first time I did this, what I would do is I would end up somehow putting a tag here that I can put my pen on the edge. I don't want it inside to make it bulky, but the edge, which when I close it, it won't be in the way. So it was a little hard to do it here without making more holes and staples. I didn't want to do that. I added a post-it note. I don't know how well it's going to stay, but I added a post-it note there with no guarantees. If I need to write a note for something, I'll have it right there. Other than that, all I did was add some paper clips, added some rest and relaxation, some little sayings from people that I have done swaps with, and those are things that was given to me in a swap. I added a lot of clips and tags, and I'll tell you why, is because I expect to have a lot of tickets, a lot of just boarding passes, all that kind of stuff. So I want a place that I can put it and hold it in there. I won't have any glue with me or anything like that to fix it. So, and then I made a pocket here, so there were no problems doing these pages because these pages are all paper or cardstock. And again, I added some little things to make you, things that make you go, oh, so, you know, and I added a few extra little things, an envelope, and this is just a mini envelope if I have something small and I don't want to lose it, and an extra journaling card if I want to journal here too, and there's some journaling with a paper clip. I added a large journaling card on here, and again, just all, I can journal on these little things for little stuff that I made. Journaling, paper clips, all kinds, envelope, another little piece of journaling cards again, with tucked into a little corner, and this is paradise, paper clips, another large journaling card. I can write on these are all normal, near the sea, because I will be near the sea. I will be checking out those cliffs down in Ireland. And here's a large tag and some more. Everywhere is that I could put a journaling card. Then aren't those pretty? This was given to me in a swap too, and I love it. I love the butterfly that she added on. I think she added on. It looks adorable. But anyway, and here's the paper clips. It's perfect for here. And this again is something I got in and a swap, and another swap. So there's all journaling cards, paper clips, all kinds, journaling cards, paper clips, larger ones if I need to hold something a little bit more sturdy. And here's some more journaling cards in here. Journaling cards here. Again, journaling cards. Now remember, I only made this journal for me, for the trip. So I'm thinking I'll probably write 1 page every day. I made enough to make it 1 page every day. And here's another journaling card here. A couple of journaling cards here I cut out with, and it's all added with paper clips. And my paper clips are what I'm expected to use to hold all those little, like I said, you know, tickets, airplane boarding passes, train passes, all that kind of good stuff. And all these little paper clips, most of them I got on swaps also. So I really, really like it. There's journaling cards, and again, journaling cards with paper clips. And I didn't fancy up my paper clips, nor did I fancy up the pages too much. And there's a reason for that. There's some more journaling for journaling here, journaling there. Is I don't want it to be thick. I want to be able to write on it on my lap. So if I added too many decor, it would not make it as user-friendly as I want it, because I won't always have it on a flat surface for me to write. So again, they're all posties, and I didn't add anything in the back for the reason as the same. It's all laminate. But other than that, I really, really like my little journal. I could have put a clip to close, but I thought, well, this way here I can adjust it if it starts getting thick with tickets and so forth. Then I can adjust my bow. That's one thing about that, you can adjust. And this is it. Like, it was really simple to make. It's going to fit perfectly in my backpack, and with my little pen here to match. And that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial, and I hope it encourages you to make one, because it's really simple. And by adding a laminate top, like I said, you can't embellish it as much, but it can rain on it, it can do what it wants. It'll keep it nice and firm, won't rip, and I'm ready for the trip. Have a great day, guys, and I'll be back with some more tutorials, but most importantly, be happy, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.